Welcome back to AZ Mom of Many Hats. We are the DIY Divas here today on AZ Mom of Many Hats. I'm going to be showing you how to make these adorable cake plates using plates, vases, cups, wine glasses, old candle holders, things that you might have around the house, to repurpose them and create these beautiful cake plates that you can use to display goodies at the holidays, use them as a display piece on your tables. Really a fun way to repurpose and reuse things that you have around the house or things that you might find at a garage sale or at a secondhand store, Goodwill, those types of places. This is a really easy and simple project. You only need a few supplies for it. Your main supplies, of course, are your plates and your bases. For this project that I'm going to show you today, I found these both at Goodwill. This plate was, maybe $2 and this base was $1 at Goodwill. I just went on a hunt. I found some things that I thought looked good together. Some of them end up being a little bit quirky, but this is something you can really use your own imagination. The only thing you want to watch for is dimension, the height and weight. Make sure that the pieces that you're choosing to put together feel stable and can fit securely together. And I'm going to show you how to do that. The other things you're going to need are some adhesive. I like to use this Quick Seal Plus bathroom and plumbing caulking. It actually dries very clear. It creates a very strong bond and it's very easy to work with. And then you'll need a measuring tape or a ruler so you can just get an idea of the dimensions that you're working with to get your things centered. So let's get started on this project. Very simple project. What you're going to want to do first and foremost is you're going to want to make sure the surfaces and the things you're working with are clean. Because once this is a completed project, you're really not going to want to submerge it, and you're also going to want your surfaces nice and clean so the adhesives will adhere. So I've pre-cleaned all these plates. You may want to go over your surfaces with a little bit of rubbing alcohol or vinegar just to make sure there's no oils or glue from any tags that may have been on here. You're also going to want to make sure that when you are picking out your pieces, they are food safe. If you're going to be using these for food, make sure that the paints and the surfaces all are compatible with food and dishwasher safe and so on and so forth. Just check the backs and you'll be able to tell whether it's a food safe surface or not. All right, let's get to creating our cake plate. What I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the back of my plate here so I know the dimensions that I'm working with. We're clanking on our table here a little bit. So I'm just going to use my measuring tape and get an idea of where center is. Now this is about a little more than 6.5 inches across either way. So my center point is going to be at about 3 1/4 if my math is right. So I'm just going to put a little mark there so I know about where center is, and then I'm going to measure the dimensions of the portion of my base that's going to be adhering to my plate. And for this one, it's 4 inches. So I'm going to subtract that from my dimensions here, and I'm going to be placing this at about 1 1/4 inches from each side. So I'm going to go ahead and just give myself a little bit of a mark at 1 1/4 inch. Nothing too major because you're going to want to be able to erase it and get the marks off. So I've got a mark here and I've got a mark here, and as long as I align those, I should be fairly center. Of course, I'll give it another look once I actually adhere it. Let me put my tape measure away. Now, we're going to get to adhering our base. On our base, we're going to adhere it in 2 stages. The first stage is going to be a light coat to just kind of get that initial bond. You're not going to want to go too heavy on the adhesive because you don't want it to bleed inside the edges. This creates a watertight seal, an airtight seal, and if you get too much bleed on the inside, it may never dry. So you're going to do a light coat around the edge of your base, the part that's going to adhere to the plate. So on this one, I'm actually going to use the top of this container to adhere to my plate. I'm going to go ahead and give it a very light coat of adhesive. Get it all my edges around here. But again, not too heavy because you want this to just be the initial kind of stick to your base. All right, I've got a very light coat as you can see, and now I'm going to line up with the 2 marks that I made here on my plate. And just press down. And when I take a look, make sure I've got that nice and centered and even. That looks good. And just give it a little bit of pressure just to make sure it all kind of sticks there. Now you're going to let this set for about 6 to 8 hours until this adhesive starts to dry and gets nice and clear. Now once that happens, you're going to use a second coat of adhesive. I'm going to let this one sit, but in the interest of time, I've started another one to show you how to do the completion. So let's move that aside, leave that be. I'm going to work with this one here. This was just a plate that I found, and this was a beautiful vase that I turned upside down to create this beautiful white and yellow cake plate. All right, I've already done my adhesive, the first coat. You can see it's stuck there. It's nice and firm, but I'm going to give it another coat just to make sure it sticks nice and tight. This time when I use my adhesive, I'm going to do a thicker bead of the adhesive, and I'm going to go on the outside, the outer edge of my base. Now when I do this second bead, I want to make sure it's a decent size bead, and I want to make sure it's fairly even all the way around my base, because we're going to be smoothing this out and we want it to have a fairly even look to it. Now it does dry clear, so if it's not perfectly even, that's okay. Just keep in mind when you are doing this bead, you don't want big clumps of the adhesive anywhere. Again, it dries clear, but it just makes it look a little more finished if you get it nice and even. All right, I've got an even coat of our adhesive here, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my finger, dampen my finger, or dampen a cloth here. Got a nice damp cloth here. I'm simply going to go around this bead of caulking very lightly, not wipe it off, but smooth it out. And that gives it a nice finished look. You don't see any big huge clumps of the adhesive when it's dry. And that will dry nice and clear. I'm going to let this set just like this for about 24 hours until this starts to clear up. And when you're finished, you have beautiful cake plates. You can get creative. You can use vases. You can use candle holders, as we see here. You can use old containers. You can use wine glasses. This is one of my favorites here that I like to share. This beach themed one. I believe this was a margarita glass and a little shell plate. And I have a beautiful cake plate there. This is a great gift for the holidays. It's an easy project to do. It's something you can give from the heart. It's a beautiful, creative, and unique gift. Thanks for joining me on AZ Mom of Many Hats. You can find this and all kinds of DIY projects and blogs and vlogs and all sorts of stuff at azmomofmanyhats.blogspot.com. I hope you'll join me next time. Have a fantastic day.